Hey there, it's Mike Langford. Welcome to another update for the Modern Financial Advisor, brought to you by Truelytics, the one and only comprehensive advisor transition management platform. And as I mentioned last week, it's also the provider of the most complete RIA benchmarking solution in the industry. Check it out at riabase.com to learn a little bit more and take a look at the RAAs that are in your general geographic area too. See who's performing really well, who's kind of ranked highest in the benchmarking spectrum of life. So really, really cool stuff. And it also gives you a great way to see the power of Truelytics that's powering all the benchmarking brain power behind what you're seeing there at RAAbase. Okay, let's get into the update. So this week on the show, my guest, Matt Reiner, has created something with his team called Benjamin. It's a startup, fintech-related startup that's all about helping you run a more efficient and effective business. Now, how do they do that? Well, I want you to think about all of the repetitive tasks that you do daily for your business or weekly, right? There's lots of stuff that we all do, like setting up meetings, like sending out updates, like just responding to some basic inquiries or making sure certain types of paperwork get sent out when a new client comes over or a client is setting up a new account, right? They're kind of opening up another account under their household agreement and certain things are going to get sent out to them. Just so much stuff that is somewhat repetitive, often clerical in nature, that probably could be done by a computer if the computer could be taught to do it. Well, that's what Benjamin does. It's an artificial intelligence powered digital assistant for modern financial advisors. So it's really, really interesting. I think you're going to get a ton out of this conversation with Matt. By the way, Matt knows his stuff, right? He's not just some tech nerd who decided, you know what I want to do is create some cool stuff for financial advisors and save them from the drudgery of their business. No, it's not that at all. Matt actually grew up in the wealth management space. His dad built a very large RAA firm, which Matt is still a financial advisor at. And Matt holds a CFP and a CFA, so he knows what it's like to build a business. He knows what it's like to interact with clients. He knows all the repetitive stuff that he and his team had to do. So that's what inspired Benjamin. They actually built it for their team first and realized that it could help the entire industry. So it's really, really cool. By the way, I host another podcast called the SoFine Podcast, which is social financial. If you want to hear a little bit more about the startup journey that Matt and his team went through to create Benjamin, you can go check that out. Here we're going to be talking about the application and the promise this type of solution has for our industry, right? Because we are under some pressure to get more efficient, to be able to do more with less, right? Because there's been some pricing compression and things like that. And Matt mentions his thoughts on some of those things here in this episode. But we're needing to rapidly modernize, hence the Modern Financial Advisor podcast, right? We need to get better with technology. We need to be able to focus our attention on the more meaningful things that our clients expect from us, not the repetitive stuff that, again, we can teach a computer to do. So this is a really, really interesting episode. I think you're going to get a lot out of it, okay? As always, make sure you do like and subscribe to the podcast. If you haven't done it already, I mean, seriously, click the subscribe button on the podcast and get it in your Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, wherever you like to get your podcast jam on, and make sure you share it with a friend or a colleague. This stuff we're putting out, it's useful to the industry, right? So the people who sit near you, if you're in an office with multiple advisors, let them know about this podcast and the stuff you're listening to. Or if you you're a member of your local financial planning association or whatever, bring it up, share it with some of the people you're connected with in the industry, right? They should be hearing about this. A rising tide lifts all boats, particularly at a time like this when people are a little stressed out and looking for ways to improve their business, okay? I hope everything is going well with you. Hope you're healthy. Hope you're staying safe, making sure you're wearing your mask, keeping your distance, and of course, you know what I like. Be nice to each other, okay? I know we're all stressed right now with all the crap that's going on with COVID-19, with the economy stuff, and our kids aren't in school yet. They're still, schooling at home. At least mine are. And throw in an election year and some hurricanes in the Gulf and all sorts of craziness, right? So be nice to each other. You'll feel better, all right? Reach out to somebody. Be nice to them. Let them know you care, okay? Okay, let's get to it with Matt Reiner from Benjamin. Click play on the podcast and subscribe, okay? We'll see ya. Bye.